Okay, fuckers and fuckheads, what we're doing today is servicing the rear end on a 1997 Honda VT1100C2. So, instead of pulling my rear end apart to inspect my dampers, I locked the bitch in gear. I know that I've got play in my driveline, but I just kind of wiggle it, feel if the dampers are good. And based on the amount of play that I'm seeing, I'm making this guy buy a set of dampers. Now I put it back in neutral, so I'll need it in neutral in a minute. And I'm looking through there, he's buying a set of rear brake pads too. I can tell that just by looking. But on to the rear end service. These are the simplest damn things in the world. This one is 23,000 on the bike. Probably the only time that this rear end has ever been serviced was when it had its 10,000 mile service, which I think is a bad thing. My rear end on any of my shaft drive bikes, I don't care which one it is, every third or fourth, sometimes I'll stretch it to the fifth oil change, I change my rear end lube. You see how nasty and black that shit's coming out? That's been in there for, let's see, 97 to 07, there's 10 years plus another 6, so 16 years that's probably been in there. Damn it, I hate it when that happens. What is that, this is 17. Need my long wrench. Damn, that's been on there a while. And now it's loose. Now that's a gallon bucket, and I've just barely got a little bit down there in the bottom, and it's already dribbling. So that tells you right there somebody's ran this fucker a long time without even topping it off. It's a shame. I learned that on one of my gold wings. God damn. You don't want that son of a bitch going dry going down the road. So I'll pour a little bit of Marvel in here for now just to break up what's in there. And you can use diesel fuel. I just prefer, I popped the vent a while ago, checked it. Just by the smell I knew that this one was going to be bad. But you got to clean them out with something, whether it's diesel or Marvel or diesel treat. A diesel treat actually does a really good job, but I'm kind of afraid of it on Honda rear end seals. Yamaha and Suzuki, I have no qualms about using it. Now I'm going to top this sucker off with some Marvel. By the way, these steps are what you do when you know it's really fucking bad. I've been playing with artificial intelligence in the background, by the way. Yeah, I've been playing with artificial intelligence a lot. My 19-year-old blonde girlfriend dyed her hair dark. let that shit drip down a little bit more so I don't get it all over the place. And make sure it's, yeah, it's not sitting on my rag, but fuck it. Okay, so now that I've got that in there, I'll spin this shit around. What I'm trying to do is get them gears nice and clean, get all that sludge off of there, because that sludge might be carrying some metal filings, and if you leave the metal filings in there, the shit's going to wear your shit out. By the way, for those of you who are worried about the language that I very often use, I'd like to thank you for worrying about it, but I'm not gonna. Or cuz I'm not gonna. Damn it, I fucked that one up. Alright, I was gonna do that funnier, but I didn't. That extra little crud out of there, I don't like that even in the threads, because that's probably, look at that, this just off the threads. Spin it around until you see that shit's clean. Alright. Now, here we go. Give that a little drain. Look down in there, make sure you get it clean. Spin that shit around a little bit more. Them teeth are looking pretty clean in there. Still seeing a little bit of nasty coming out of the bottom. So what I'm going to do for that, yeah, that's still nasty coming out. I'll give it another shot. Only this time I'm only going to give it one bottle. By the way, for all you guys with these Red 1 cameras, the early ones that had the mechanical hard drive in them instead of the solid state, which that may just be because I got the shit off of eBay. If you go putting in these Raptor solid state drives, that fan in that sumbitch ain't gonna shut off. Now that might be because I live in Florida, but that fan didn't come on last summer. So I can honestly say that the Raptor solid state drive in this camera was a bad fuck up on my part. And then what really pisses me off is it's 256 gig drive and the damn camera will only use 160 gigs of it. I thought that was kind of fucked up. Okay, let that drain through. Now if I had some real Silu, I'd use that in here before the Marvel diesel treat and regular diesel fuel. I kind of worry about the seals. And I hate pulling these bitches apart. that's just what's left on the end of the threads that it's pushing out now. Okay. Gears all look clean. Everything inside looks pretty clean. That little sucker back on there. About every third, you know, stretch it to the 5th oil change if you have to. But, at least every few oil changes, change the oil in your rear end, and every oil change, you should be topping the rear end off. I change my oil every 1,000 on the 1,000, which is why my bikes last me so long, but I know a lot of you guys will stretch it to 2,000 and 3,000 and 4,000 miles, and then you're wondering why I'm getting 1,000,000 miles out of a 1980 Goldwing before I had to tear it down, and you're getting, what, 100,000, 200 on a wing? Calling that really good. Granted, along the way I had to change a couple of sets of heads, I've had to change a bunch of clutches, but this is the first time that bitch has been apart for a full rebuild. That was on the stock pistons the whole time. Alright, clean this cap off on it. See how nasty that fucking old oil was? See the difference? That's all you do. You fill that sumbitch up until it's topped off there. That was a little bit better than a half a quart. And then to keep it from leaking, keep turning it backwards a little bit. And that gets that little extra in there. Notice I said a little extra, not a lot extra. Boom. Alright. And boom, we're done. Double check. Yep, we're done. That's it. That's how easy it is to service your rear end on these old VT1100s. And I know I did another video on generic motorcycle shaft drive rear ends in general. This is my first Honda specific one, and I'm going to start trying to do more of them because it seems like down here people are switching to decent gear oil for some reason. It's not me recommending it. They actually come in and ask me what they should be getting because, I don't know, you go up there by Sharkies and shit. They're all talking about shaft drive bikes that buke your rear ends. So I guess it's a local paranoia for the time being, which I don't mind. I mean, when I go through these bikes, I go through them anyway. So, now you know how to service your rear end on a 1997 VT1100C2. And I am going to end up pulling this rear end apart and replacing the dampers in there. But right now, that's what he gets. While I'm here, I'm going to inspect his spokes, feel for loosies. I'll take a tuning fork to them after a while. That one, he's got the tire off when he's getting a new tire. Counted 4 loose. Right back on my oil spot, I counted 4 loose. Alright, holler at y'all fuckers and fuckets later.